Okay, I hate those YouTube videos where some asshole starts in cutting and sawing and banging and punching and gluing and screwing, and he ends up making some kind of gadget that 15 minutes later you got no freaking interest whatsoever in owning. This is a homemade torch. I looked around on YouTube and got some ideas, and used my magic drawer full of fittings and came up with this little gadget, which is vastly superior to my propane torch, which I got very frustrated with. Actually, I had two of these. This one was a complete piece of garbage, and it would pretty well every time you could count on it blowing out, or it'd make a little pissy little flame about so long. And I needed to do a decent job of browning this gun barrel, so this was the result. It's really quite straightforward, quite simple to build. I need to adjust the camera angle so it points at the vise, and then I'll tell you the rest of the story. Okay, back at it. There's this was kind of handy, having well, it's actually essential. You need some way to attach this to either your tank, or in my case I'm using the 20-pound bottle. So you need some way of attaching. It turns out that the thread where the nozzle originally threaded into here, where that comes out is I think that would be a flare fitting. We've got another one. It'd be this style of a fitting, obviously without the hose, not that thread matched up and fit right in there. And then the only other tricky bit was this end right here needed to be threaded for a nozzle to regulate the flow of the propane. This is I believe it's a 0.9 millimeter MIG torch. I ended up drilling that out with great difficulty, but I ended up drilling that out considerably oversized, so I would start with a 1 millimeter or even a 2 millimeter MIG torch if you're starting from scratch. Buy the right one. Drilling these out is challenging, to say the least. But what you do is you tap the end of that to accept the MIG torch, and then the whole thing gets assembled like this. I'll just pull I'll pull the jet out of there so you can see what that looks like. Oh yeah. So there, the jet feeds into the end of the T, and the side of the T is set up to introduce the shop air into. I just happen to have this little gauge set up. I use that when I'm spray painting, so I can regulate the air. You could probably regulate the air into that just with like a quarter turn ball valve. If I was going to do it that way, I would probably put another MIG jet into here somehow, so that you'd end up with a little better air control. This thing I use it anyway, so I had it here. It snaps onto there, and obviously the propane goes onto here. I've got the old propane valve to regulate the propane, and you saw how it works. It actually works pretty good.